Hey everyone, and a warm, friendly welcome back to Best English Podcast. It's Sophia here, and I'm really happy you're spending this time with me today. So, let me ask you something and be honest with yourself, okay? Have you ever been in a fun English conversation, maybe at a cozy coffee shop, or just chatting with a new coworker, and you understand every single word they say? The talk is flowing, you're laughing at the jokes, and you feel totally part of it. But then, when it's your turn to jump in, to share what you think, or tell a quick funny story, suddenly your brain feels stuck. There's this tiny but super frustrating pause. Why does that happen? Because your thoughts, which were clear and lively a second ago, are now doing a tricky dance. They're popping up in your first language, then quickly, nervously, you're trying to change every single word into English, looking for the perfect grammar, the exact vocabulary. And by the time you've finished all that mental work, the moment is gone, or your words come out sounding stiff, not natural, a little awkward almost, not quite you. It's like you have a little dictionary always open in your head, constantly slowing everything down, making your sentences feel like hard work. But all you really want to do is just think and speak directly in English, easily and without effort. If that situation sounds familiar to you, if you're truly ready to stop that inner translation habit, to move past just, I can understand basic English, to a place where your English flows so smoothly that you actually think in the language, then trust me, you are exactly where you need to be right now. This isn't just another English lesson. This is about making a big, important change in how your brain uses language. Don't go anywhere. Seriously, stick with me for every single minute of this episode. Because in today's episode 24, How to Think in English for Intermediate Learners, we're not just going to talk about the idea of thinking in English. We're going to give you simple, hands-on steps, easy to understand examples from real life, and fresh, clear ideas to literally train your brain for direct English thinking. We'll show you exactly how to build this important skill so your English feels strong, quick, and truly your own, helping you express yourself without that annoying mental block. You definitely won't want to miss any part of this deep dive into a new way of thinking in English. You know, as I was getting ready for today's episode, I kept thinking back to our last chat, in episode 23. Improve your English listening for intermediate English learners. We spent that whole episode on making your ears sharper, didn't we? We talked about how to catch quick words, how to understand different accents, and how to feel more sure of yourself when listening. We explored great ideas like getting the big picture in conversations, how brave it is to ask for clarification when you're not sure, and how regular, gentle exposure to English, like just changing your phone's language, can make a huge, silent difference in how well you understand. The messages and comments I got from so many of you after that episode were just amazing, and it really showed me how much you all want to make real, lasting changes in your English journey. The key for Mark, and for you, is to purposefully practice forming thoughts directly in English, starting with simple things you do every day. This is where the real brain training begins. Instead of seeing a big oak tree, changing it to your native language, and then thinking, tree, purposefully look at things around you, at home, at work, or outside, and immediately think or say their English names. Mark's practice, while working in a client's large garden, he'd quietly name everything he saw. That's a rose bush. I need my shovel. The watering can is full. This soil looks good. He carefully and consistently avoided letting his mind think of the native language words. This simple but powerful, repeated action trains your brain to make direct, automatic connections from what you see to the English word, building instant recognition and cutting out the extra step. In the same way, as you do things every day, actively and mentally describe them in English using simple action words. Mark's practice. As he carefully planned a garden, he'd think, I am drawing the plan carefully. I am measuring the space exactly. I am choosing the right plants for this weather. This regular mental naming of actions helps you automatically use common verbs and phrases, greatly reducing the need to translate when you're talking about what you or others are doing. It puts the action words right into your thoughts. Once you're comfortable connecting single words to objects and action words to actions, the next natural step is to start putting them together into very simple English sentences in your head. Mark's practice, instead of just drawing, he'd think more fully, I am drawing a detailed plan. The plan needs to be clear and easy to understand. Or, the client wants bright, colorful flowers. I should suggest these beautiful red roses. This is the very start of you talking to yourself in English, where you think about what's around you, what you're doing, and your simple observations directly in English, forming complete, clear thoughts. Mark noticed a big and truly freeing drop in his translation efforts after just a few weeks of this steady, easy practice. When he saw a certain type of plant, the English word came to his mind right away, without going through his native language. When he did something, the English action word was instantly ready in his head. This direct connection helped him start building much more complex, quick thoughts directly in English, without the frustrating translation detour. This made his conversations much smoother, more confident, and truly natural. Daily life, daily English. Putting English thinking into your routine. Thinking in English naturally isn't a special skill you only practice during study time. Actually, one of the most powerful and effective ways to truly learn this skill is to purposefully fit it into your normal, everyday routine. By changing common moments into small, regular chances to think in English, you teach your brain to automatically use English. This makes it a part of your daily thoughts, not just something you study in a class. Let's look at Ethan, a talented coffee maker from Austin, Texas. Ethan absolutely loved his job, making fancy coffee drinks and chatting with customers. But he often found himself quietly changing customer orders and small talk into his native language in his head before he could answer. This made him feel less present, less quick to respond, and a little disconnected. He really wanted to answer more easily and naturally. Here's how to use your daily routine to help you think in English naturally, just like Ethan learned to do. Morning routine talk. This is your very first chance each day. As soon as you wake up, even before you fully open your eyes or get out of bed, start thinking about your morning in English. Keep it simple at first. Ethan's practice. The alarm is ringing. Time to get up. I need to stretch a little. Next, I will make coffee. What should I wear today? Maybe my blue shirt. This quick action immediately sets your brain's language for the day and starts to use your English words for personal habits and plans. It's like a gentle warm-up for your English brain. Commute thoughts. Whether you walk to the bus stop, drive to work, or ride the subway, turn your travel time into active English thinking practice. Mentally describe what you see, hear, and even feel around you in English. Ethan's practice. The traffic is heavy today, as usual. I see a big red car in front of me. The sky is cloudy and looks like rain. I hope it doesn't rain during my shift. This changes those often boring moments into active English practice, constantly connecting the language to what's happening around you right now. Mealtime thinking. As you get food ready or eat, mentally describe the ingredients you're using, the steps you're taking, or even just how the food tastes. Ethan's practice. While getting breakfast ready, he'd think, I am making breakfast. I need to toast the bread carefully. The coffee is hot and smells great. This tastes delicious and fresh. This connects English to your senses and actions in a very natural way, making it a deeper part of your daily thoughts. Planning ahead. Before you start anything, a work task, a chore, or a fun project, mentally go over the steps you will take, all in English. Ethan's practice. Before making a special coffee for a customer, he'd think, first, I need to grind the beans to a very fine texture. Then I will steam the milk until it's perfectly foamy. Finally, I will pour the espresso beautifully. This strong method helps your brain organize thoughts and plan future actions directly in English, greatly improving how smoothly you can talk about tasks. Ethan found that by regularly thinking through his daily routine in English, he greatly reduced how much he translated. He started to automatically know common phrases and words he needed for his job, making his talks with customers smoother and more natural. This group of small, regular habits helps your brain build strong new connections and makes English thinking feel almost automatic. It's like having English gently humming in your mind all the time. Learning chunks of language. Speaking more easily at the intermediate level, if you still think about single words, it can slow down your thinking and speaking. To sound more natural and speed up how you think in English, you need to learn and use language chunks. These are common phrases, idioms, and phrasal verbs that native speakers use all the time. They work as complete ideas. When your brain knows these chunks as one single idea, it doesn't need to change them word by word. This helps you think faster and more naturally, and then speak more smoothly. Let's meet Chloe, a university student from Seattle, Washington. She loved studying English, but she often felt her sentences were too simple, even when she knew all the right words. For example, she knew go, get, and make, but she didn't naturally use common groups like go out, get by, or make up. Here's how to learn language chunks to think more naturally in English. Focus on phrasal verbs first. These are verbs combined with a small word like up or off that often have meanings different from the main verb. They are very common in everyday English. Chloe's practice, she chose a few new phrasal verbs each week. Instead of thinking, stop trying, and then translating, she learned give up as one idea. Then she practiced using it in her quiet thoughts and imagined situations. I should give up trying to fix this old, broken phone. It's just not working. More examples to listen for and use. Come across, which means to find by chance. Call off, which means to cancel something. Break down, which means to stop working, like a car. When you learn these as single ideas, it helps you recognize them faster and use them easily in your thoughts. Understand idioms and everyday sayings. Idioms are phrases where the total meaning is not clear from the single words. They can be tricky. Chloe's practice. When she heard someone say, spill the beans, meaning to tell a secret, she didn't think about literally spilling beans. Instead, she trained her mind to connect the whole phrase directly with the idea of telling secret information. Then she would imagine situations and use the idiom. I hope my friend doesn't spill the beans about the surprise party. More examples to learn. Hit the road, which means to leave. Break a leg, which means good luck, often said to actors. Bite the bullet, which means to face a hard situation bravely. under the weather, which means feeling a little sick. When you think in idioms, your brain gets the main idea right away, without confusing translation. This makes you understand faster and speak more naturally. Learn common word combinations. These are words that often go together in English. They just sound right to native speakers. For example, we say heavy rain, not strong rain, and make a decision, not do a decision. Chloe's practice, instead of learning strong and coffee separately, she learned the combination strong coffee. When she made her coffee in the morning, she'd think, I'm making strong coffee today. I need the energy. This makes your English sound much more natural and helps your brain expect common word pairs, which helps you think and understand faster. Chloe started a special online flashcard set for these new phrases, not just single words. She put the idiom or phrasal verb on one side and its meaning plus an example sentence on the other. Very importantly, she then actively created and said her own example sentence out loud. This made her brain learn them as ready-to-use chunks, greatly improving how natural she sounded and greatly reducing times she stopped to think in her English thoughts and conversations. She really started to sound more like a native speaker. Active listening, making your English brain stronger. While our last episode 23 was all about improving how well you listen, active listening is also a super important way to help you think naturally in English. How you listen directly changes how your brain works with and creates English. When you listen actively and smartly, you're giving your brain real English patterns, which it can then use in your own thoughts and when you speak. It's like a direct learning loop. Let's think about Liam, a talented designer from Boston, Massachusetts. Liam often listened to English design podcasts to get ideas and learn, but he noticed that sometimes the information seemed to go in one ear and out the other. He understood the main idea, yes, but his brain wasn't actively using the smart language he heard, and he couldn't easily use those ideas or words in his own talks. Here's how to use active listening to strongly help you think naturally in English. Focus on meaning, not just words. This is a big change from trying to understand every single word, which can make your brain tired and make you translate. When you listen to English, try hard to get the main message, what the speaker really means, or the general feeling of the talk, even if you don't hear every single word. Do not stop your inner English thoughts to translate every word you don't know. Liam's practice. While listening to complex design tutorials, he purposely focused on the overall steps of a process or the main idea being explained. He would picture the result instead of getting stuck on technical words he didn't immediately know. He'd pause and ask himself in English, what's the main idea here? What is the speaker trying to do? This teaches your brain to understand English by looking at the whole idea, not just word by word. This makes you understand much faster and helps you be ready to answer with the overall meaning. Guess from context. Practice. This is like being a language detective. When you hear a new word or phrase, try right away to guess what it means from the words around it, how the sentence is built, the speaker's voice, and the general situation before you even think about looking it up. Liam's practice. If a designer mentioned a dithering technique for pictures, he'd think about the visual examples shown in the video and how they looked. Then he would try to guess what dithering meant in that specific picture situation. He'd then use that guessed meaning in his quiet thoughts about the technique, and later, if needed, check the exact meaning. This builds your brain's ability to handle words you don't know in English. This is a very important skill for natural talks and thinking, where you don't always have time to stop and look up every word. Summarize aloud or mentally. This is a very strong method that connects listening directly to speaking and thinking. After listening to a short part, for example, 2 to 3 minutes of a podcast, a short news clip, or a scene from a show, pause and try actively to tell what you heard, using your own English words and phrases. Say this out loud if you can, or quietly in your head if you're in public. Liam's practice. After a part about writing styles in his design podcast, he'd pause the audio and quietly say, "The speaker just explained how font choices can really change a design's feeling. They talked clearly about the difference between serif and sans serif fonts and when to use each." This makes your brain actively work with the English you heard, find the most important information, and then say it again simply in English. This makes your English thinking muscles stronger and helps you share information easily. Liam found that by purposely listening for meaning, practicing guessing from context, and regularly summarizing, he wasn't just understanding more deeply. He was also building a stronger, more flexible way for his own English thoughts to work. This active way of taking in information directly helped him create more complex, quick, and natural thoughts in English. Telling your story, thinking in narratives and explanations. Going beyond just simple observations and descriptions, a big and truly rewarding step in thinking naturally in English is being able to tell stories, explain how things work, and share your personal experiences directly in English. This means your brain needs to smoothly put ideas in order, use the right past, present, or future tenses, and use connecting words to build a clear, flowing story or explanation in your mind, just like a native speaker would. This is where your English starts to become truly lively and expressive. Let's talk about Olivia, a wonderful kindergarten teacher from Portland, Oregon. Olivia often had to explain simple ideas or tell fun stories to her young students. While she could always make them understand, she sometimes felt her English explanations didn't have that natural flow, that interesting detail, or that quick, spontaneous spark. She really wanted her English, both in her head and when she spoke, to be as clear and easy as it was when she read her favorite children's books. Here's how to train your brain to think in English for stories and explanations. Tell about past events, your daily diary in English. Make this a daily habit. At the end of each day or during a quiet time, quietly in your mind or out loud, tell yourself about your day's events in English. Focus carefully on the natural order of things and how they are connected. Olivia's practice. This morning, I woke up early because the sun was so bright. Then I made breakfast for my family, enjoying the quiet moment. After that, I drove to school through surprisingly light traffic. In class, we read a charming story about a little dragon who learned to fly. It was a truly busy but fulfilling day at school. This regular practice strongly teaches your brain to use past tenses and words that show time order naturally. It builds a way for you to tell stories in English without having to mentally build each sentence. Explain simple processes. Mental instruction books. Choose any everyday task you do regularly, like making your favorite coffee, doing laundry, putting together a toy, or getting ready for work, and mentally describe each step of the process in English. Olivia's practice. While carefully preparing her classroom for the next day, she'd think, "First, I need to tidy up the craft corner, making sure all the crayons are put away. Next, I will organize the books by topic, so they're easy for the children to find. Then, I'll write the schedule on the whiteboard for tomorrow's activities." This exercise actively uses exact words and important words for order, which are truly vital for clear, quick explanations in English. Imagine future plans, thinking in future tense. This is a great way to get your brain ready for daily talks about what's coming up. Purposefully think about your plans for the next day, the weekend, or even a future trip, completely in English. Olivia's practice. Tomorrow I will meet my friend, Sarah, for lunch at that new Italian place. We might go to the park afterwards if the weather is good and sunny. Later in the evening, I will prepare lessons for next week's phonics class. This steady mental practice helps you naturally use future tenses, talk about what you plan to do, and discuss possibilities directly in English. This makes these real-life conversations much smoother. Olivia found that by constantly practicing these ways of telling stories and explaining things, her ability to remember past events with detail, explain new ideas to her students, and talk about future plans directly in English greatly improved. Her spoken stories became more interesting, her explanations much clearer, and her overall communication felt easier, just because her brain was already thinking in English patterns. Better vocabulary, adding depth to your English thoughts. At the intermediate level, just knowing more words isn't enough to truly think naturally and speak beautifully in English. The next important step is to understand the small differences between similar words and to always use them exactly. This is what makes your English go from just being understood to being clear, thoughtful, and strong. It lets your inner thoughts capture exactly what you mean. Let's think about Ethan, a brilliant writer for a newspaper from Seattle, Washington. Ethan could easily write and say, "The article was good." But as a skilled journalist, he knew there were much more exact and powerful ways to describe an article's quality. Was it good because it was complex, important, full of ideas, or just okay? He really wanted his English thoughts and communication to show these exact differences, to paint a clearer picture. Here's how to make your vocabulary better with exactness and small differences for deeper English thinking. Smart use of a thesaurus. Picking the perfect word for your thought. When you use a common general word like good, big, say, or happy, make it a habit to look it up in an online thesaurus. But the key is not to just pick any word from the list. Instead, look into the small differences in meaning, feeling, and how each word is used. Ethan's practice. For the general word good, a thesaurus might give many choices: excellent, satisfactory, competent, virtuous, adept, proficient, skillful. Ethan would then mentally choose the best fit for his exact thought. The article was insightful, meaning it showed deep understanding. It was compelling, meaning it strongly caught attention. Or, it was well-researched, meaning it had strong facts. Thinking this way makes your brain pick the most fitting English word directly for what you mean. This makes your inner thoughts richer and truly precise. Focus on word partners, words that naturally go together in English. Thought. These are pairs or groups of words that often appear together in English. They just sound right to native speakers. For example, we say heavy rain, not strong rain. We make a decision, not do a decision. And we eat fast food, not quick food. Learning these word partners makes your English sound much more natural, and very importantly, helps your listening and thinking. When you hear heavy, your English-thinking brain will expect words like rain, traffic, or burden without having to change each word separately. Ethan's practice. When learning a new idea like solution, he'd learn the common word partners with it. find a solution, implement a solution, effective solution. When thinking about a problem at work, he'd automatically try to find a solution or develop an innovative solution. This builds natural phrases right into your English thought patterns, making them quick to use. Learn word families, making your mental word network bigger. When you learn a new main word, try to also learn its related action word, descriptive word, and how word. This is a very smart way to learn more words quickly. Example: from the main idea communicate, you get communicate, action word, communication, main word, communicative, descriptive word, and communicatively, how word. Ethan's practice. When he learned about a problem in a software report, he'd also think of problematic, descriptive word, to describe a difficult situation or to problematize. Action word, a more advanced word, meaning to make something into a problem, to say a more detailed idea. This makes your vocabulary grow fast and helps you recognize these related words right away when you hear them, and find them quickly when you want to use them in your own English thoughts and speech. You're building a smart and connected group of English ideas in your mind. Guess meaning from context, getting better at smart guessing. When you find a new word while listening or reading, try first to guess its meaning from the words around it, how the sentence is put together, and the situation. Don't stop right away to look it up. Ethan's practice. If a coworker used the word ubiquitous in a talk about technology and he didn't know it, he'd think about how mobile phones are everywhere. He'd then guess that ubiquitous likely meant present everywhere or very common. This teaches your English brain to fill in the blanks based on the situation. This makes you understand much faster and needs less translation. This skill is super important for thinking and understanding quickly, where you don't have time to stop. By really focusing on these ways, your vocabulary will not just grow in number, but truly in quality and depth. You'll be able to say things more exactly, think more truly and richly in English, and understand the small differences in what others are saying, making your English truly shine and feel naturally easy. Getting past stuck points and building strong confidence. At the intermediate level, many learners eventually hit what we call a plateau. This is a time when they feel like they are not getting better or even getting worse, even though they keep trying. This is a very normal part of learning a language, and it can be really discouraging. You might think, I know so much grammar and so many words, but I still feel stuck. My English isn't getting better, and my thoughts are still translating. This feeling often comes because your brain is busy organizing and settling the new information it has. This is actually a sign of progress, but it can feel like you're not moving forward, which deeply affects how confident you feel and, very importantly, your ability to think freely in English. Let's think about Liam, a college student in Boston, Massachusetts. He felt very sad and discouraged after learning English for a few years. He could understand most things he read and heard, especially in his school studies. But when he had to say his complex ideas or have quick talks in class, his speaking and the ease of his thoughts didn't seem to get better. He felt like he was always making the same grammar mistakes, or finding it hard to find words quickly, always going back to translating in his head. He was very worried about his accent and truly feared that his teachers or classmates might judge his English. Here's how to really get past stuck points and build strong, unshakable confidence that directly helps you think naturally in English. Focus on progress, not perfection. This is perhaps the single most important way to change how you think when you're aiming to think in English. Your main goal is to talk easily and naturally, not to speak like a robot who has learned every rule perfectly. Understand and accept that mistakes are a totally natural and needed part of learning. In fact, they are helpful signs for getting better, not failures. Liam's understanding. He started purposely celebrating small wins in his English thinking, no matter how tiny. Successfully having an inner talk for 5 minutes without translating, understanding a complex English sentence without breaking it down in his head, or quickly forming an opinion directly in English. He purposely changed his focus from being hard on himself, "Oh no, I made a mistake," to telling himself positive things. "I tried, I spoke, and my brain is learning to think in English. That's progress." This strong, positive focus directly clears mental space for thinking in English, greatly reducing the worry that causes you to translate. Keep track of your small wins. This is a clear way to see how much you're growing. Keep a small notebook, a note on your phone, or a simple list. Every time you successfully use a new phrase in your thoughts, easily understand a quick conversation, have a short chat in English, or even just finish a period of talking to yourself completely in English, write it down. This visual reminder of your steady progress helps you clearly see how far you've truly come, especially during those hard times when you feel stuck. It directly fights the discouraging feeling of being stuck and gives you clear proof that your brain is learning and changing to think in English. Use positive self-talk. Be very kind and supportive to yourself. Your inner voice matters a lot. Instead of your inner voice saying, "My English is terrible, I'll never be able to think in it naturally," purposely challenge that negative thought. Change it to encouraging words like, "My English is getting better every day, and I'm proud of my effort and how consistent I am in thinking this new way." Or, "That was a good try at forming that thought directly in English. I'll make it better next time, and that's okay." Your inner talk has a huge, often unseen, effect on how confident you feel and how easily you can think and speak English. Treat yourself like your best friend or the best English teacher you could ever have. Positive self-talk greatly reduces mental blocks and opens the paths for direct English thinking. Record your English thoughts. Even if it feels a little strange at first, recording yourself speaking can give you incredibly helpful, clear information about how your thinking works. It lets you clearly see where you might be stopping to translate or finding it hard to find direct English words. Very importantly, it also helps you truly appreciate how much you are getting better over time at forming quick English thoughts, which can be hard to notice in the moment. Liam's practice. Liam started recording himself talking for 1 to 2 minutes about his day, his thoughts on a class topic, or a simple opinion. His main goal was to try not to translate as he spoke. After a month, he listened to his first recordings and was truly surprised by how much smoother, faster, and more natural his speaking and underlying thought flow had become. This clear proof of progress is a very strong way to build confidence for thinking in English. Ask for helpful feedback. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Ask a trusted language partner, tutor, or teacher to give you specific, helpful comments. Focus on how smoothly and naturally you speak, not just perfect grammar. For example, you might ask, "Can you tell me where I stopped or paused most in this sentence, and how I could have said that thought more directly in English?" Or, "When I explain this idea, do I sound natural or does it still sound like I'm translating?" This specific feedback is much more useful than general criticism and directly helps you get better in areas that might be stopping your natural English thinking and quick speaking. Remember, stuck points are temporary. They are not a sign that you are failing, but instead a sign that your brain is actively working, reorganizing, and settling new language information. Keep pushing forward with steady practice and a very positive mindset, and your confidence will grow stronger than ever, naturally leading to more quick and direct English thinking and speaking. What you'll achieve and your bright future with episode 24. All right, my friends, we've gone over so much great stuff today in episode 24. How to think in English for intermediate learners here on Best English Podcast. We looked at how real-life situations and detailed, actionable steps can truly change and make your English speaking and understanding skills much, much better. We focused very closely on training your brain to think directly in English. To quickly go over the strong, helpful points we talked about today, these are the main parts of your future fluent self. Stop translating. Start by purposely naming objects and actions in English to build direct connections in your brain, moving past the need to translate from your native language, just like Mark started his journey. Put English in your daily life. Make thinking in English a regular, natural part of your everyday life. From quiet morning thoughts to mealtime ideas, following Ethan's example. Learn language chunks. Learn idioms, phrasal verbs, and common word groups as complete ideas to speed up how you understand and make your English sound more natural, like Chloe did. Make your English brain stronger with active listening. Use active listening methods like focusing on meaning, guessing from context, and summarizing to build up your inner English structure, just like Liam improved his skills. Tell your stories and explanations better. Learn to think in stories and explain things, telling about past events, describing how things work, and thinking about future plans directly in English, similar to Olivia's clear thinking. Use words. Exactly to deepen your thoughts. Use smart thesaurus help. Focus on word partners and word families, and guess meaning from the situation to add exactness and small differences to your English thoughts, like Ethan the journalist. Get past stuck points and build confidence. Know that feeling stuck is normal. Purposely track small successes, use positive self-talk, record your thoughts, and ask for specific feedback to build strong confidence in your English thinking, changing problems into growth, like Liam's big step forward. In all the personal stories we shared today, whether it was Mark stopping his translation habit, Ethan putting English into his daily life, Chloe learning natural phrases, Liam making his brain stronger with active listening, Olivia telling better stories, Ethan making his words more exact, or Liam getting past stuck points. There's a clear, strong message. They all took that very important next step to actively practice and make their English better, especially focusing on how they processed information, even when they felt unsure or nervous. And that, my friends, is the most important lesson for you too. You might feel a little worried, a little nervous, and that's perfectly normal. But the more you try, the more you speak, the more you make your listening better. And very importantly, the more you practice thinking in English, the better you'll get. It will be easier to use English because you'll get used to the natural rhythm and flow of the language. Your English brain will literally tune in more effectively, making communication feel easy and truly your own. I truly hope this episode 24, How to Think in English for Intermediate Learners, has inspired you to take those brave, regular steps every single day. Remember, learning English is a wonderful, rewarding journey, not a crazy race. Every little moment you spend thinking in English, every new phrase you learn, every single time you try to explain something, even if it's just practicing a sentence in your head, you are making amazing real progress. So, go out there and practice, even if it's just for a few minutes each day. Doing it often, with consistency, is what truly makes you speak English well for a long time. Before we sign off, I want to give you a very specific and truly actionable challenge to put what you've learned today into practice for episode 24, Intermediate English Practice. This is your moment to make a real difference this week. Spend 5 to 10 minutes each day on inner talk. When you're making coffee, walking, or just sitting quietly, describe what you're doing, what you see, or what you're planning, all in English. Very important. When a word or phrase from your native language comes to mind, purposely stop that thought. Then, try to find the English word for it and keep going with your English thoughts. Don't try to change the whole sentence. Just focus on that one missing part. Pick one new idiom or phrasal verb that you liked from today's talk. For the next 5 days, try to actively use it at least 2 times each day in your inner talk or, if you get a chance, in a real conversation. Focus on understanding and using its meaning as a whole idea, not by changing each word. Choose one simple thing around you. Spend 1 minute describing it in great detail in English to yourself, using as many exact descriptive words and action words as you can, without translating. Think, what color is it? How does it feel? What is it used for? What's its story? Try to add lots of detail. Your task is to add these new parts to your daily routine. Remember, it's about doing small, regular things that lead to big results in training your English brain. If you're feeling brave and want to be part of our amazing learning group, come to the comments section on our YouTube channel. Tell us which challenge you tried and what you noticed about your English thinking. We absolutely love to see your progress and learn from what you experience. Your success helps us all. Thank you so much for joining me on Best English Podcast today. If you found this episode helpful and inspiring, please do me a very big favor. Click that like button right now. It truly helps us know this content is valuable to you. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Best English Podcast wherever you listen to talks, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google Podcasts, or right here on YouTube. Also, please share this episode with a friend who is also learning English, because sharing knowledge helps us all grow stronger together. And if you have a moment, giving us a rating and a review really helps our community grow and reach more hardworking learners just like you, and it helps us make even better content for you. You can also find full words from this talk, extra practices, and more help for this episode, along with all our past talks, on our channel. Please share this episode with your friend and tell them to subscribe to the channel Best English Podcast. Until next time, keep practicing, keep speaking, and most importantly, keep learning and enjoying the process. I'm Sophia, and I'll talk to you all very soon.